Hey everybody, it's Party Elite with another episode of Total Breakdown. This time we've got a great showcase of the Dwarfs of ShetlandApache as they take on the Warriors of Chaos led by one ColdAssHonkey. A Rune Lord leads the Dwarfs with a Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin and a Master Rune of Negation, while his Runesmith comes in with a Rune of Wrath and Ruin and a Rune of Negation. 4 units of miners with blasting charges can disrupt enemy cavalry and slow charges down, while 2 units of dwarf warriors and Norgrimling's Ironbreakers will provide some more strength in melee. The Dragonback Slayers will look to shut down enemy large units, while the 5 units of Thunderers will provide a tremendous amount of range support alongside the 2 units of Cannons looking to deliver the pain nice and early. Kolek Suneater leads the Warriors of Chaos with Lord of the Storm, while his Chaos Sorcerer of Death comes in with Life Leeching, Spirit Leech, the Fate of Buna, and Arcane Conduit. 5 units of Chaos Warriors keep down costs, though they don't bring any armor piercing, though the 2 units of Gorebeast Chariots, the 2 units of Chaos Trolls, and the Giant will take care of that department. Alright, as always, we're going to start with a conversation about deployment, and while the Warriors of Chaos keep things relatively simple, the Dwarfs, well, their deployment is essential for shutting down Warriors of Chaos and cavalry-heavy armies. So let's take a look at this thing properly. So, as you can see, it's all pretty far spread, very loosely laid out. We've got some miners with blasting charges up front, again, littered around, able to toss their blasting charges wherever necessary to try and slow down enemy charges. Then we've got these cannons over here and over here, able to fire through these gaps that you can see, and able to sort of dominate the field and get a decent amount of damage done right from the get-go, as I mentioned earlier as well, while we do have the Dwarf Warriors over here and over here protecting these sort of side entry points. Then we've got the Thunderers. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units of Thunderers, all spread very far apart. I've said many times before that you need to keep your range units spread apart, and this is sort of what I mean. This is an extreme scenario, which is important for the Dwarfs because they're so slow-moving, slow to disengage. But in this case, if some chariots push through and shut down these Thunderers, there's a lot of support nearby. Or any other unit of Thunderers getting shut down, there's a lot of support nearby, and that's what's important about this layout. Then right in the middle, we do have the Rune Lord, the Runesmith, as well as these Dragonback Slayers. And these guys can, of course, dive in and provide some support wherever necessary, the Slayer specifically as well, able to do some of that anti-large damage from the get-go if anything decides to punch through these Thunderers back here. So again, very important layout there, especially given the sort of focus of this video today. Now let's take a look at the Warriors of Chaos. Again, relatively simple over here. We've got the Chaos Warriors up front, straight line. On either flank, the Gorebeast Chariots, of course, looking to push in and get some nice charges in, get a little bit of disruption going before lines actually meet. While right behind the front line, we have the Chaos Trolls, again, bringing in some of that armor piercing, able to punch through the front lines. And then we've got Kolek Suneater, the Chaos Giant, and of course the Chaos Sorcerer of Death as well. All of these guys able to cause a decent amount of hurt, whether it be through magic or actually beating on some dwarfs. Now, let's take a look at how this all breaks down. Again, it's a pretty interesting battle, though it is relatively quick and punchy. Right away, you can see the cannons are beginning to open shots off. Of course, that is exactly why they're on the field, so you'll see a very nice synchronized shot there going in towards the Gorebeast Chariot. Unfortunately, they all miss that first volley, but no problem. There's plenty of time to get some of that damage done. While on the other side as well, you'll see this cannon trying to promptly take care of the Gorebeast Chariot. Of course, it is a very threatening unit, so you do want to try and shut it down as quickly as possible. And you can see already we've got some movement going on. These Thunderers over here pushing off to the side, while these Thunderers pushing a little bit closer over here, ready for these flanking maneuvers to come in from either side. Again, able to support each other and trying to push into support formations. While you'll see over here the Gorebeast Chariot taking a decent beating there from that volley. And meanwhile, on the right over here as well, the Gorebeast Chariot able to, I guess, dodge some of these early shots from the cannon on this right flank over here. Meanwhile, on the left, as the Gorebeast Chariot does get ever closer, you'll see these Dwarf Warriors do push up, ready to eat the inevitable charge from the Gorebeast Chariot. They do have charge defense against large foes, so they'll be able to eat that charge quite well. And take a look at this. The Gorebeast Chariot comes in not at the fastest of speeds, and it just barely nudges these Dwarf Warriors, and right away these Thunderers are beginning to respond. The cannon as well, turning around to open some shots off, and you can see these Gorebeast Chariots are falling apart almost right away. They're taking a lot of damage. Of course, they've already taken some earlier from the cannons, but very nicely done there, and causing a decent amount of hurt, while over here this unit of Gorebeast Chariot is pulling around the side here, while the cannon is trying to keep up, turn around, and open shots off. And these guys are trying to push into the Thunderers over here, and very nicely done, avoiding the front line and pushing into these Thunderers, getting a decent amount of hurt in as those Thunderers open off some initial shots. Meanwhile, the front line is about to collide. You can see Norgrimling's Ironbreakers tossing some of their blasting charges into these Chaos Trolls, hoping to get some damage in, the extra damage, because these guys are regenerating. They have regeneration, so the fire will do some extra hurt. While back here, you'll see that unit of Gorebeast Chariots has been completely devastated already. They've barely got 2 kills, and they're already shut down, already routing. While up front in the center, we do have Kolek Suneater diving in, trying to get some hurt done to these miners with their blasting charges, while over here, these miners with their blasting charges continue to toss some blasting charges into these Chaos Warriors. Again, trying to get some damage in nice and early off in the right over here as well. These Chaos Trolls being targeted by those blasting charges. Again, trying to get that extra hurt in nice and early, while at the back, this lone unit of Gorby's Chariot now has to do a lot of legwork to shut down the range support. And you can see already as it opts to dive in towards this unit of Thunderers rather than shutting these guys down, who are a lot closer. So bit of a bad call there, should have actually pushed down this way. But as it's pushing towards this unit of Thunderers, you can see it's eating a lot of hurt. Again, these guys are in great position to support each other as needed, as necessary. You see these guys are actually firing up front because that's more where they're required right now. And the Rune Lord and the Runesmith as well pushing up front to get involved in the main central engagements over here. You can see the Dragonback Slayers as well pushing in to try and shut down Kolich's Sun Eater as the center does fall. Meanwhile, over here up front, we do have upon the Chaos Warriors the Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin and the Rune of Wrath and Ruin getting a lot of hurt done. While back here, 3 units of Thunderers able to shut down the Scorby's Chariot, completely taken care of. Rune Lord hit by Spirit Leech, so trying to get some hurt done there, while back here these Thunderers hit by the Fate of Buna as well, just to get some damage done and get range support off the field. It's very important right now. You can see the Scorby's Chariot did decide to come back in and get a little bit of hurt done, but you can predict that those guys will be very quickly taken care of, while over here this cannon has been shut down by this unit of Chaos Warriors that is very nicely pushed off to the side. But you'll see the Dwarfs are not doing so well in these regular frontline melee engagements. These guys are falling apart. These miners don't really stand much of a chance against some Chaos Trolls, so they really need that range support, and thankfully the Gorby's Chariots have been shut down, so that range support is very much alive and there to help. Meanwhile, you'll see over here we do have the Master Rune of Negation and the Rune of Negation trying to keep these guys alive. Very essential here. These Dragonback Slayers need to be kept alive to do a lot of damage. You'll see the Chaos Giant has eaten a lot of hurt from the Thunderers, from the Runesmith, the Rune Lord, and the Slayers, and there goes the Giant falling to his death. Very well done there. Meanwhile, down here, you'll see we do have the Lord of the Storm going down. Again, trying to shut down the Thunder, so great thinking there. Good call. You want to shut down that range support. Unfortunately, the Chariots didn't work out, so now needing to resort to magic and various abilities. Meanwhile, these Thunders are opening shots off at the Chaos Trolls, a very, very vital target over there, while these guys are opening shots off at Kolich's Sun Eater. As you can see, eating a lot of hurt. Kolich falling apart as he is beating away at this Runesmith, though. The cannons as well, able to open shots off at Kolich. Now he's a very big target, so a lot of damage going through, while these Chaos Trolls, you'll see, able to break that front, and now pushing in towards the Thunderers to try and shut them down once and for all. Close the gap, maybe get a little bit of damage in. You see just a little bit of a damage there, but they're made to turn around as they give up almost instantaneously, and that's a major flaw in the Warriors of Chaos battle plan. You can see even now Kolich's Sun Eater is pushing in towards some of these Thunderers, eating a lot of damage, but he's already lost so much health, he's more likely to fall apart before closing the gap. If the Warriors of Chaos had simply pushed in with Kolich and some Chaos Trolls over here alongside a Gorby's Chariot and one of the other units of Chaos Trolls and another Gorby's Chariot over here, there would have been a lot more chaos on the field. Pardon the pun, not intentional this time. But if you had 2 units on either side, or 3 units on one, 2 on the other, able to push in from multiple directions and really shut these Thunderers down, then those Chaos Warriors would be able to push in and hold the line up front and actually do a decent amount of damage. Unfortunately, though, you can see these Chaos Trolls are falling apart. These Chaos Trolls are mostly taken care of. Kolich's Sun Eater is falling apart. The Giant as well, dead on the field, of course, and Kolich as well, now eating a lot of that ranged fire, whereas the front line basically non-existent. So the Warriors of Chaos could have taken a much more aggressive approach with their large units, and they could have done a lot more damage and actually shut down these Thunders and made sure they weren't alive to the end of the battle. Meanwhile, you'll see here the Rune Lord hit by Spirit Leech does fall, so a small victory there, but overall a much better victory for the Dwarfs. Now, this battle shows a pretty expectable Warriors of Chaos approach to the Dwarfs get utterly shut down by an excellent starting formation and great use of range support and artillery. The Chariots were not well managed whatsoever, unfortunately, but even if they were, the Thunderers were always ready to respond and spread so far apart that the Chaos General would have to go in with more than just a couple of Chariots to shut it all down. Like I was suggesting, if all of those large units were organized, sent in from both flanks at the same time, then there could have been some chaos on the field, and there was some chance that the Thunderers would have all been shut down. As always, make sure you subscribe to this channel for more Total War content and keep sending in those battle replays. I do think it's one of the best ways to learn, and it's always nice to see great approaches from various generals in the community. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the battlefield.